Great morning, holy brothers and sisters! For the 5th of TEVET in the Kitzur Likutei Moharan, today's lesson is called Carrying Clothing. Teaching number 29. Hi Gavra the Azal Ba'e Itzah. A certain man went seeking a wife. Bechoros 8b. Speech which is not heard and accepted is not called speech at all. The way to rectify one's speech so that it will be heard and accepted is by praising the true tzaddikim. This is the all-encompassing general rectification for speech. Similarly, when a person's speech does not contain awareness of and knowledge of God, it lacks good, and consequently it is not heard and accepted. By praising the tzaddikim, a person's knowledge is elevated and his speech becomes imbued with good. Then his speech draws from his knowledge and contains good, and since good is something that everyone wants, his speech is then heard and accepted. Praise proper people to notch up knowledge and sanctify speech. When speech is in its proper state, which is Malchus, kingdom revealed by the mouth, Tikkun Zohar introduction, it is associated with let your garments be white, Koheles 9:8. Thus, a person must treat his clothes with the utmost care and not abuse them, and he should guard them as it is fitting from stains and soiling. For clothing is associated with Malchus, kingship, as in the phrase the honored king, Tehillim 24:8, and Rabbi Yochanan called his clothes my honorers, Shabbos 113a. Accordingly, a person who mistreats his clothing is like someone who rebels against the kingship, and when this happens, the law of the kingship judges him. The greater a person is, the more fastidiously he must guard his clothing, since he is then held to a higher standard. Therefore, a Torah scholar who has a stain on his garment deserves to die. Shabbos 114a. May God save us. Carefully care for clothing, which creates core connections. Now, when a person does not take care of his clothing and it is stained, this causes a separation between the Holy One and the Divine Presence, God forbid. Then, God forbid, a wicked slave woman rules, which is the evil kingdom, and it causes the Divine Presence to become impure, as with menstrual blood, God forbid. This in turn makes a person's livelihood difficult and burdensome. In accordance with the negative prohibitions they transgress, God forbid, the wicked by their sins awaken the forces of spiritual pollution, cause the divine presence to become impure as with menstrual blood, and cause a separation between the Holy One and the divine presence, God forbid. Now, it is an extremely onerous task indeed for a person to rectify each of his sins individually, since they are so very numerous. In fact, it is impossible to rectify them insofar as each Torah prohibition contains many fine points and details, and a person cannot possibly identify and correct all of them. Therefore, one must effect an overall general rectification, tikkun haklali, for all of these sins, and this rectification is the attainment of physical intimate purity. Through this, all the Torah prohibitions that a person transgressed are rectified automatically. Even the narrowest and most slender places, which no other rectification can reach, can be reached by the general rectification, which directs rectification to those places too. Block out bad blood blemishing blotches, and recall real robustly ruling rectifications. As always, thank you so much for learning together. If you enjoyed this lesson, please remember to like, comment, share, and borrow, and please God, we'll learn again tomorrow.